everyone, thanks for joining me again. This is Planning Dale's Way, and in tonight's video I am going to be doing some memory planning. So I have printed out with my sprocket some of the pictures that I want to use in memory planning. So I'm going to make a memory page. If you'd like to see me do that or get some tips about it, then keep watching. Also, if you're new here, thanks for visiting, and welcome back if you've visited before. Alright, let's get to some memory planning. Thanks. Hi. As I said, I'm going to do some memory planning for an event. Yes, the event was at the end of June, so it's, you know, been a little while since we were there, but I'm planning for an event that we went to, and I've just managed to get my sprocket to work again, so I've printed out some of the pictures I'm going to need. I'm actually going to do two memory keeping or memory planning pages. I'm not sure if I'm going to do them in one video or if I'm going to separate them. But the event we went to was Dracula's Cabaret, the Resurrection Tour at Rest Point Casino. And it was my husband and I. There we are. There you go, the Resurrection Tour. So these print, when you use your sprocket, your HP sprocket, these print on sticky paper. So these are all stickers. This one I think I needed to trim, and that one I got from the internet because I didn't have a really good photo of him. This is the photo I took of the cast. So most everything else except, oh, this one too from the internet. So everything else except those two photos I managed to take myself while we were there. And I'm just going to trim this one. And yeah, so it was Dracula's Cabaret, so it was a comedy show with a bit of burlesque and singing and jokes, and it was the first show of that type that my husband had ever been to, so that was a bit exciting. So I'm just gonna stick some of these on this blank piece of paper. I did pull out a couple of books, so I have Roygbiv volume 3, and I was thinking these are a nice dark red box I could possibly use. I also pulled out Mojo Jojo's Rainbow Shapes, and if you see the top line there is red. You know, there's a couple of red circles, etc. So, you know, I might be able to find some of those. Depends on how I want the layout, etc. But I pulled that one out. And I also pulled out Rainbow Basics by Caliber Plan. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera. And I have a page with some black boxes and some different coloured red boxes. So I figured black and red's probably the way to go, which is why I picked the paper with the black spots, just because I thought that was going to be easier. And I'm not adverse to decorating both sides of the page. So I will, you know, put some of these on this side, and I'm happy to flip and put them on the back as well. The back is exactly the same as the front of the page. So I think I want at least one picture of me and hubby on each side. So I'll put this one on the front, and then I'll keep this one for the back. So we'll sit him there. I figure this one has to go on the front because it's the Resurrection Tour. And I might trim this one as well. But yeah, I don't do memory keeping the way some people do memory keeping. I will quite literally make this page up and then just stick this page in my normal planner on the week of the event. So, oh, I pinched my finger with my scissors then. Oh, that wasn't clever. So yeah, I actually had been to the Gold Coast and seen the Dracula's Cabaret show previously in 2019. So, you know, like I've seen it before, but my husband hadn't. I'm just thinking maybe I need some date stickers so I can put the date on the page. That might be good. Let me grab a date book. Okay, I'm going to have Mojo Jojo plans as date it. And as I said, it was a Saturday night in June that we went. So maybe I will pull out the date and actually use the stickers. So here's June. Oh, you probably can't see me over here. I'm sort of hanging off the edge of the desk because this is such a big, thick book. But it was Saturday the 25th of June in Hobart. Yeah, and I just thought this would be a good way to remember that we went. And that we had a good time. Oh, doesn't want to come off. The numbers don't want to come off the page. Get under there. Oh, love my tweezers. They're very, very helpful for getting under the edge of stickers that don't want to peel off the page. Do you use tweezers? I got these tweezers from Denise at Luscious Labels. I also have a set that I managed to get from La Belle's in Latrobe of Tasmania. The lady who runs that shop, her name is Therese. So I have my date, and I thought we'll just stick this one here and then maybe the date up over here, and I'm going to add some boxes and things so I can do a bit of writing about the event, and then maybe add some flowers or something. I'm not sure yet. So let's get started by sticking this one down. Let's hope it'll peel off. They usually peel off pretty good. So does anybody have a sprocket or a Canon selfie, or what's some of the others? So mine's a sprocket, HP sprocket. I know there's Canon selfie, and I know that, you know, you can get your Fuji like Polaroid Instax camera. That's what it is, an Instax camera. So does anybody use those sort of cameras? For, you know, the memory planning and things like that? Or do you do scrapbooking in a different way? I need the 25th. Where is the 25th gone? I was talking to you about pulling things up with my tweezers and I forgot to pull out the date. But there we go. That's all right. That's because I'm still learning how to do this. Saturday the 25th of June. 2022. This was also just before we got COVID, and possibly got COVID from the event, but I'm not saying that that is actually the case. But yeah, we ended up with COVID the following week. We're going to take this one now. So this one was taken in the foyer before we got in. And I am using my tweezers because the backs of these are very, very sticky. Let's go there. And I like when they're on a little bit of an angle, because it makes it look more scrapbooky to me, or I think it looks more scrapbooky. Let's see if we can pull out a black box and pop it here, but we're going to keep the box, or at least this box, straight. And what have we got on this one? No, let's try this dark one over here. So if you guys could see my desk right now, so I have a bit of everything going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and, yes, sorry, I'm turning the page, and I'm going to put him here like this. And yes, I'm gendering stickers again. And then let's put this one down here. I can't get my nail under the edge. There we go. So this one I'm gonna, oh, where's my tweezers, because that's really sticky. This one I'm gonna want to keep straight, and I'm going to pop it here. But the show was fantastic. There was a lady who, I think she played the character of Vixen, and she did some, what do you call it, like hoop work, you know, acrobatic hoop work. And, sorry, that's creating a shadow. She also did some rope work, you know, so like circus tricks, and that's the thing, you know, it's like pole dancing, but you know, it's actually takes so much more upper body strength to do it, that yeah, it's amazing how they can manage to get it, get physically up in the air that way, etc. I'm going to pop that one there. So I'm just creating a little cluster. And I know florals aren't exactly, you know, Dracula-ish or spooky or whatever, but I do have some of these paper florals from Happy Planner. These came in a pack when you bought the floral box last year or the year before. No, it might have been last year. I can't honestly remember. But it's got some nice line drawn florals, and I was thinking once I'm done, maybe I could throw a few of these down and possibly colour them in, you know, and make them the red and that sort of thing. So I have those. I put them all on a ring so that they would all stay together. I'm thinking maybe these. And I actually ended up with 2 packs due to a de-stash. So I have quite a few. I haven't used any of them as yet, but this might be the perfect time. So yeah, so I'm going to pop that aside there. Now I don't want to overcrowd this top area, and we still have, oh, I think I was going to trim this because it's got a man's head who was sitting in front of us. got his head in the way. But she's basically sitting in a great big hand prop and doing her song, etc. So that was quite good fun. No, I didn't leave enough room. Alright, so we're going to flip that page over, and now we're going to add this photo that I took of the cast, and we're going to add it at the bottom because it was kind of the last photo I took. They came out and did a like meet and greet and a photo session, and it was quite funny because I still had the photo from 2019 when I went to Queensland on my phone, and I was able to talk to a few of them, and I showed them the picture, and they were like, oh my gosh, you know, like I couldn't, but they couldn't, you know, sort of like believe it, and they're like, oh, that was so long ago. I said, it feels certainly like it was so long ago. And they're like, oh wow. So yeah, and then they asked, did I enjoy that show, and you know, that sort of thing, and I said, yep, I did. And if I ever get the chance, I will be heading back up to the Gold Coast. I'm not sure we need that one. I'll hang on to it, but I think this is probably good enough. Yeah, so if we ever get the chance, I'd love to go back to the Gold Coast and see their new show. It's quite good when you go to the Dracula's Cabaret on the Gold Coast there, because to get into the restaurant, and that's the thing, it's a dinner theatre, you actually take a ghost train, like what you do in an amusement park or a haunted house ride sort of thing. And yeah, so you end up taking a ghost train to get to your seat, or to, you know, the tables and stuff. And yeah, so that was quite a bit of fun. The only problem is I'd gone to the Gold Coast on my own. I'd gone for a specific event, and Hamish, my husband, stayed here because his grandmother had just passed. The day I flew out actually was the day of her funeral. So yeah, a bit sad, but I wasn't able to get a refund on the event that I was going to the Gold Coast for. Dracula's just ended up as a bit of a bonus, and yeah, it was great. But on the ghost train, they, as you would imagine, something jumps out at you about halfway through. And then during the intermission of the show, they put up the pictures of your reaction, etc., to having something jump out at you. And yeah, so that was quite amusing. But as I said, I travelled by myself, so it was a case of they needed to have 2 people per car on the ghost train. So it was a bit like, okay, any solo travellers, you know? And I ended up getting paired with a young man who, let's be honest, I was probably old enough to be his mother. He'd gone with 2 other friends who, of course, jumped on the train car before us, before me sort of thing. And, you know, then they were calling for single travellers or solo travellers, and so I stuck my hand up and I made the joke about, you know, oh, I'm old enough to be his mother, because, you know, I'm 44 now, and even a couple of years ago I was probably old enough to be the man's mum. But anyway, you know, that's, you know, the funny joke I made, you know, and if people who know me in person know, I tend to make funny jokes like that, you know, I'm old enough to be their mother or whatever. So yeah, so we ended up on the ghost train together, and this poor fella jumped out of his skin when whoever it was or whatever it was jumped out at the train car that went past. And yeah, I was expecting it, so because I didn't really want to be embarrassed or, you know, embarrass myself, I kind of tried to have a fairly stoic sort of impression on my face at the time. So yeah, but no, this poor fella jumped out of his skin when we went through. So yeah, it was quite funny. Once we'd gotten in and were shown to our seats, I never seen him again for the rest of the night. So, you know, it was, yeah, poor dude, you know, but it is what it is. And sorry for that rambling story to nowhere. But anyway, there you go. That's my memory page for the night out. I will write a few little things in the boxes I've put there, and I do think I'm going to add a few of these flowers just to fill in some space, and then maybe I will colour them in, or because I like a good flower too, so I may colour them in, or I may just leave them exactly the way they are, being the fact that they're outlined, etc. I may just leave them, though I think the flower itself would probably look really good if I coloured it in red, but you know, we'll wait and see. Put a couple on the back maybe. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and as I said, it's not a traditional memory keeping page like some other people do. I'm not usually one for that type of memory keeping. It takes too long, in my opinion, and like I know some people are really good at it and think it means a lot to them, and you know, their spreads all turn out beautifully well and that sort of thing, but yeah, I honestly don't have time for that. So there you go. So the books I used, again, I didn't end up using Mojo Jojo's shapes. I pretty much stuck with the Heather Kell books from Caliber Plan, Rainbow Basics, and Roygbiv Boxes and Florals Volume 3, but I did use Mojo Jojo's Date It to get the day of the week and the date, etc., that I put at the top. So thanks for joining me for that, and I hope to see you again next time.